The house looked exactly like the one he used to describe when he was younger. Wide porch, tall windows, a small patch of yard where sunlight fell clean across the grass. Nothing extravagant, but solid. The kind of place that made a person feel like they had finally arrived somewhere. I parked at the curb and sat for a moment with the keys in my hand. For years I had listened to him talk about the future like it was a distant country he was trying to reach. A better neighborhood, a better address, somewhere that didn't carry the quiet marks of where we came from. I understood that feeling. I had spent most of my life working so he wouldn't have to start where I did. When he stepped out of the car behind me, he looked at the house the way someone studies a reflection of themselves. Pleased. Careful. A little nervous about who might be watching. "This is it," I said, holding out the keys. He took them quickly, his fingers brushing mine for only a second. The front walkway curved neatly toward the door. New paint. Clean railings. The realtor had been right, it looked even better in the afternoon light. For a moment I thought he might hug me. Instead, he glanced toward the houses across the street. Then at the driveway. Then back at me. "You don't need to come in," he said. At first I thought I had misheard. "I just want to see the kitchen," I said lightly. "Make sure everything." He stepped slightly into the walkway, blocking it without making it obvious. "You don't belong here," he said. The words came out flat. Not angry, just decided. A small breeze moved through the trees lining the street. I waited for him to soften the sentence. He didn't. "You make me look bad," he added quietly. I looked at him for a moment. The same face I had watched grow up across 1,000 ordinary years. School mornings, late dinners, bills that arrived faster than paychecks. But something in the way he stood there told me this wasn't a new thought. Just the first time he had said it out loud. I nodded once. "All right," I said. There wasn't anything else to say that would make either of us feel better. He turned the key in the door. I walked back to my car. In the rearview mirror, I could see him stepping inside without looking back. The drive home felt longer than usual. Not because of traffic, just because certain memories started rearranging themselves. Overtime shifts. Weekends that disappeared into extra work. The quiet promise I had made to myself that, one day, he would live somewhere better than the places I had known. I had never imagined that better might mean somewhere I wasn't allowed to stand. But people grow into their own ideas about the world. Sometimes those ideas don't include the ones who help them reach it. A week passed. No phone call, no message about how the house looked at night or which room he liked best. I assumed that was the end of it. He had his life now, and I had mine. Too. The call came on a Tuesday morning. A man introduced himself as the property manager assigned to the neighborhood. His voice sounded polite but strained. "Are you the legal owner of the property on Alder Street?" he asked. "Yes." There was a pause. "Your son filed documents with our office earlier this week regarding the property." "What kind of documents?" "Ownership transfer and residency registration." That didn't make sense. "I didn't transfer the house," I said. Another pause, longer this time. "That's why I'm calling," he replied. He explained slowly, carefully. The paperwork submitted by my son stated that the property had already been legally transferred into his name. But the county records showed something different. The title still belonged entirely to me. "I think you should come down here," the manager said. When he answered, his voice dropped slightly. "Because I've already contacted the police." The office was small and bright when I arrived. A patrol car sat outside the entrance. Inside, the property manager stood near a desk covered in documents. A uniformed officer leaned against the wall reading through a folder. My son was there too. He looked pale, tired in a way that hadn't been there the week before. The officer glanced up when I walked in. "Are you the property owner?" he asked.
"Wes."
He gestured toward the paperwork. These forms were filed claiming that the property had been transferred to your son before he moved in. My son shifted uncomfortably. The officer continued calmly. But public records show no such transfer. He looked directly at me. Did you authorize any change in ownership? The room went quiet. My son stared at the floor. When he finally spoke, his voice was defensive but thin. I just needed it to look clean, he said. Like it was really mine. I didn't respond to him. The officer was still waiting. No, I said. I didn't transfer anything. The officer nodded once and made a note in the folder. Across the room, my son exhaled slowly. For the first time since I had walked in, he looked uncertain. Not embarrassed. Not angry. Just unsure of where things stood now. Outside the office, the afternoon sun felt warmer than it had that morning. The house on Alder Street was still there. Still his place to live. But the paperwork had reminded both of us of something simple. Sacrifice can build a future. It cannot decide what someone does with it. And sometimes the only thing left to do is stand quietly in the truth you already own.